This actor from Glee played a gay character, but in real life, he is a straight dude. And recently, he was on a panel at one of these fan expos, and he told the audience that although he is heterosexual, he identifies as culturally queer. And I really hadn't heard that term before, but it's an umbrella movement, right? It's a big tent movement.
Well, that new flag has an umbrella.
There's a new LGBT flag that has an umbrella on it, so it's perfect.
That flag goes kind of hard with the umbrella.
You loved it.
I like it.
Maybe you should join their club.
Maybe
you should be culturally queer.
I have no idea if it's real, but like if you make it like if you change the colors and you make it just black and white and monochrome it, I'm kind of here for that flag.
Yeah.
I mean, I just assume that the umbrella means that Umbrella Corp is represented in that now. So. All right, let's watch this video.
Yeah.
We're gonna allow these guys to talk about gay shit. I have been so culturally queer my whole life, and not because I'm trying. You know what? Actually, I was gonna say not because I'm trying to be cool, but I'm gonna erase that. It's because I am trying to be cool. 90% of the shit in my life that I have tried to emulate, learn from, and be inspired by is 100% queer as fuck. That's hundreds and hundreds of years. It's been from the queer community. These are people that I idolize, that I want to learn something from. And obviously that's a gross generalization, you know, I'm not just, that's a lot of things, a lot of people. But I grew up in San Francisco in the 90s. I watched men die around us, uncles were dying. There was an awareness of the gay experience that like was not a foreign concept to me. So it was a narrative that I cared deeply about, not because I'm some fucking saint or I have some kind of like, I'm the man for the job. They hired me, and like I've said, I'm in the service industry. They said, you're the guy. I said, okay, if I'm the guy, I will do my best. I'll do my best to talk about it in a way that I believe, in a way that I'm passionate about. So in many ways I go, I'm glad that it was me because it was a thing that I really liked showing up for, and it meant a great deal to me that it meant a deal to other people. Because when people say that they were affected by that show or that relationship, it's not because of me, man. It's because of that relationship on that TV and the risks that people took to put that on TV. And most importantly of all, it took people watching it to have the aptitude for seeing beyond what was, you know, maybe given to them in other.
What is he even saying?
To go like, okay, you know what, I can relate to this, gay or straight. So I have a lot of people from all kinds of ages that were, you know, from all.
Oh, and he paints his nails too.
Like, you know,
Well, that's how you know.
Very culturally queer.
Show with like that, and it was a really meaningful thing for me to see. And I go, I didn't grow up with shit like that. That would have been very meaningful for me too. You know, regardless of the fact that I'm a straight kid, that has value. Representing any kind of underdog, as we all know, in any way, shape, or form, sexual, religious, theological, ethnic, whatever, it has value because there's going to be a lot of people that see that and go, okay, I can now understand this in a context that maybe I wasn't able to before.
What if a white actor played a black character in blackface and they were like, I grew up in Detroit in the 90s. Mm-hmm. I'm culturally black. Mm-hmm. One person in the chat said, just say you're not gay, but your boyfriend is. But yeah, he's one of these straight guys who paints his fingernails and wears little candy bracelets and t-shirts that are a little too tight, and yeah, but he's straight and, you know, still identifies that way. It's interesting though, because it's kind of problematic in current day Hollywood for a straight person to play a gay person or a quote unquote cis person, even though I don't believe in those categories, to play a trans character.
I feel like
he's trying to make it into a thing that's not problematic here, and like in this long-winded explanation get people back on his side.
Well, then what he's challenging every actor now to, I first of all, when it comes to trans characters, that one I do believe is still firmly in place. But when it comes to playing gay or gay characters, I don't feel like that one is as rigidly enforced as it was like in 2017 or 2018, when that would have been a bigger talking point. Or even think about the discussion we had earlier this year about Bradley Cooper playing a Jewish character when he's not Jewish, right? So
it's selective outrage.
What he's doing is he's saying that like you can do this character you can play this character, but you're going to have to prove at every meeting, at every Q&A, at every event that you're the man for the job by proving your fealty to the cause.
And who wants all of that trouble years after the show was canceled? Like, who wants to deal with that much baggage?
There are plenty of actors who are gay who come out and say that, like, these days, who are still saying, look, I wouldn't have had a career if I didn't get to play straight characters in my formative years. I have no problem with.
I mean, we are like the vast majority of the population.
I would have no problem with straight characters playing gay characters. I feel like now that's used as like a weird reverse virtue signal, even though it's not any type of bold statement to make. It was, who was it? The guy from Fast and the Furious 6 or 7, Luke. I forget his name. I forget the actor's name, but he played the bad guy in one of the Fast and Furious movies, and he talked about it. He said, "Look, I played straight characters most of my life. It's acting." And that's the truth of the matter. But there's always going to be a subset of the population on the internet that are going to have an issue with this. But we've had multiple actors. We had Billy D. Williams and the other one come out recently, and the other actor come out recently and say that, look, wear blackface. And everyone's like, We got
a $20 from Jared Price.
Luke Evans, thank you.
Culturally queer is just the new way to say they are, in their own words, culturally appropriating an aesthetic, but without using the phrase they overuse. Oh, look, hypocrites in Hollywood again.
Thank you, guys.
It's funny because, like,
Evans.
This actor looked more masculine and heterosexual when he was on TV playing a gay guy than he does in real life as a straight man, where he's painting his nails and wearing frilly shirts and stuff.
And to an extent, he probably has to defend that choice now all the time against activists. His playing that character. He'll always get a little bit of pushback. Maybe not a lot, but
Look,
he's going to.
A straight man doing gay stuff for money, regardless of the context, is always going to give me the ick. So, I guess you could argue it's brave.
I mean, I guess. I just see it more as like proof that this is an ideology, and anybody that tells you it's not, look no further than to a discussion like this that turns it into so much more than just talking about who it is you prefer to sleep with.
Also, there's kind of the reason the trans thing is more set in stone as a no-no is because trans actors can't play cis people. And not that I even agree with the term cis, because it's just, we're normal.
Yep.
But trans actors can't play cis characters because they don't look normal. They look weird.
Meaning like Hunter Schafer.
Pretty much any of them that are clockable, yes. Like, which is all of them, basically, yes. In motion, video, not a photoshopped picture, they're all clockable. That's why they can't play normal cis characters. Yeah. Like, it's a complete distraction, and it makes my brain uncomfy.
And another thing that's relevant in this discussion is there was a report here. GLAAD is very upset, guys.
They have a concerning report that there is a drop in LGBT characters on TV, and they have demanded more inclusive content from Hollywood.
I can't
Good
demand
grief.
anything. I'm not allowed to demand anything.
There's like 100 days of queer, like throughout the year, like between a whole month and then like another.
And then there's the visibility days of all kinds.
70 days, like there's a whole month and then there's a whole other 70 days like that they make into some kind of thing. Like, we don't need any more visibility for queers. We don't.
Who was it yesterday that was talking about not liking that art is being done through algorithms? It wasn't Rebecca Ferguson. It was
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Okay, so I thought this was interesting. It says for the 2023 to 2024 period, GLAAD counted 468 LGBTQ characters, a 21.4% drop from the previous season's total of 596. Of those counted, 36% of the 468 characters will not be returning the next season. When Emily Blunt said that she doesn't like the idea that art is put through algorithms, the converse to that is, how do you expect art to be done any other way when other people are literally counting characters, word amounts, and screen time down to percentage points to decide just how good you are or are not for their community's goals? Okay, that's not art, at least not in any real sense. That is just a bunch of activism by committee using art as a mouthpiece, which is why it ends up feeling empty to everyone.
They're nerds with clipboards.
Yes.
Can you believe that the activists who claim they're for sexual liberation are the pencil-pushing nerds walking around with clipboards clutched to their chest, and they're pushing their glasses up all the way up the bridge of their nose?
Yes.
And they're looking around, sneering at everyone.
For the period, GLAAD counted 24 transgender characters, or 5% of the 468. The percentage held steady compared to the previous period. In reality, transgenders make up less than 1% of the adult population. Even I don't like these types of discussions where it's like they represent this amount of people to this amount of characters. Because one of the people would always point out to me was like, look, for instance, when they would talk about African-American representation in film in Hollywood, they'd be like, well, there'd always be like, if it's a ensemble show of 4 people, like one main character was always black, and nobody ever had a problem with it. In truth, that's an overrepresentation of the population, as we know, that would make up 13%, or given if it's a man or a woman, only 6% of the population. So in the show, they're overrepresented in the show, but you can't actually do a half of a person anyways. So when you start getting into the numbers, you just lose the magic of all of this stuff. There's no magic in this anymore. Maybe not the people of this show, but I think that the average person doesn't actually care as long as you put the character and the art first. But the problem is the character and the art is never put first anymore. No. So it feels empty. And it feels forced. Just
like you guys were saying, the fact that it's just a vehicle for a political narrative or to push an ideology is it's made it so that way people feel like these stories are hollow and empty.
Yeah.
I mean, we've disagreed about this on the show before, and the reason is that by their very existence, a person who identifies as trans is a walking narrative. They're trying to make you participate in their
fair
narrative.
Enough, yeah.
And, I just don't think that's fair, and I don't think you can include them in any story on TV or in a movie without it being that narrative driven. That is inescapable. It could be done in a way that, slaps you in the face a little less. I see this as an inevitable thing.
It's true. Anytime you bring up trans, because the point of trans is you're supposed to be able to, or they want to be able to pass. And so if you talk about trans, then they're not passing. Then you're making that a focus, and that there's validity to that argument, just having trans people, I get that,
So, an over 20% drop in LGBTQ characters in TV shows from 2023 to 2024. Mm-hmm. Does that mean Hollywood is learning something positive?
No.
Is this a positive sign, or is it just a total coincidence?
Coincidence.
Yeah.
I don't think Hollywood learns lessons.
Or is it the fact there are less TV shows in that season because of the strikes?
Yeah, I don't know if that's if it's like a bunch. The thing is, a lot of shows got canceled and nothing was re-upped, so they're running reruns, and there was only a very minuscule amount of new shows even ordered this year, for instance, on terrestrial television.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting discussion to have as well. But the problem is, 30,000 foot view, it's just sad. To look at what was once a beautiful process of creating art, albeit with a lot of people involved, given that the process to actually bring something from concept to storyboard, script to production to screen is this massive undertaking that takes hundreds of thousands of people to do, was once something that people found beautiful, is now for the financial and social.
Thank you.
And that's just sad.
That's just sad. Let's dance about it.
Let's dance sadly. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.